Clear Shots is brought to you by Pinecast. Use the code R-63F8FB to get 40% off your first 4 months.
Don't give him clear shot. Don't give him clear shot. Don't give him clear shot. Don't give him clear shot.
Let's do this. So we just watched Triple H talk shit to like fucking
So like
a whole bunch of people
20-year-olds,
on
like
Tough
a bunch
Enough.
of 20-year-olds.
Bunch of dudes who were like, chance to be on reality TV, I'm in. And then he went,
oh yeah,
really?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that
So
was
you're
like
doing
straight
this
up.
just to be on TV. Because whoever
what people
wins
said?
is going to be a pro wrestler, and you're going on the road for 300 days.
Yeah,
It's straight.
and they don't want.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's what you're doing? You're signing up
That's
for
why
that?
I'm glad that like the 2K games are a thing, because then I can just pretend that I do all that.
Right. Yeah.
Without
You can
having-
wear
It's
face paint.
unfortunate only because the 2K games are always shitty.
They're always exactly the same.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it. You've played No Mercy for N64.
Yep.
You know what it feels like when the game is perfect. So how do you not just make more of that game?
Yep.
Where they got it perfect.
I loved the
I don't get it.
like the older PS2 ones, like Shut Your Mouth,
Smackdown.
Here Comes the
Here Comes the Pain
My,
was
my
incredible.
favorite
Know
one
Your
was
Role.
the first SmackDown versus Raw with Vince McMahon's face on the cover.
That's a good one.
That's my favorite
I
one.
liked Here Comes the Pain because you could like hit the special button again and it does the fucking camera
But
thing.
think about how good those games would have been if the gameplay felt like No Mercy did.
Right.
Like the pace, the way the characters move, the locomotion of the gameplay.
Yeah, that
It was
was-
nailed on N64. In all of them,
yeah.
dude, not just No Mercy.
Yeah, yeah.
Even all the way, like I see right now in your N64, you have World Tour.
World Tour.
That game is incredible.
Yeah.
And it's so bare bones.
And it's weird
But it
'cause
has
when you
the same
watch,
physics engine.
It has the same exact thing. And if you play Def Jam Vendetta, it has the same thing too. Like it's the exact same game with like a reskin.
It is.
basically.
Which is because it's who made it?
THQ.
THQ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
THQ was, rest in peace, pour one out for THQ. They got all their shit bought out, and they're back. They're THQ Nordic now, and they're
That's real,
they're apparently releasing a Timesplitters HD collection this year.
No way.
Yes,
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes,
Nothing wrong with that. That
Yeah.
game's incredible.
and because they bought it off of Crytek. Crytek was in the middle of remaking all three of them, and then scrapped it, and then shelved it, or not scrapped it, they shelved it, and THQ Nordic was like, yeah, Timesplitters, yeah, the game that everybody loves, that that everybody wants a
What?
new one of, we'll buy that off you. You're selling that? Oh yeah, we'll take it. Oh,
Yeah,
only $5 million or however fucking cheap it was. Yeah, we'll take it. Here, we'll throw in
there's
some
a lot
almonds.
of games.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games that are, like would have super high demand. I mean, like Skate 3. You got Sonic
Jesus
Adventure. Even Sonic.
Christ.
There was a talk about Sonic Adventure 3, and that never happened.
That's the
and
thing.
they're thinking about
Sonic
remaking-
Adventure 1 and 2 were
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, I think they're thinking about remaking Sonic Adventure 2.
What would it be
I
on
read
Switch,
something about
assumably? I feel like Nintendo has strong
Probably, yeah.
ties. Yeah.
There's-
Those are awesome.
Got dress socks for the office. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you. I think I said it on the podcast. But this year I'm going to be working. I'm not going to be at the manor anymore. Finally, after 3 years, going to work in my dad's tax office this year. So
Nice,
if
man.
you're going to get your taxes done, click.
Word. Legit. Because we get our taxes done together. We have to. It's complex because we're married and own a home, and Stace doesn't get taxes taken out of her wage, so she has to pay in at the end of the year and shit.
Yeah.
It's chaos, man. It's fucking chaos.
I would not want to have to pay in.
Yeah, fuck.
It's tough. It gets mediated a little bit because I get back, but whatever I
It's so
get back
weird.
is just gonna go to what I like.
Right.
Even if I got the money, I'm just gonna put it towards whatever the
hers,
fuck.
yeah.
You know,
Well, it just gets. It's
it doesn't
weird,
do me
like,
any good
when,
to be like, well, that's my money. No.
Yeah.
Well, now she's in the fucking hole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
stupid.
True.
So
Everyone around you gets a fucking tax refund, and then you're like, "Yeah, I paid $570."
it sucks. Oh, sure. $500.
Nothing
You mean
kills me more than
5,000?
that shit, yeah.
She has to pay in like $5,600 or some shit.
Jesus Christ.
Possibly more, dude. I mean, she makes good money. She's a tattoo artist, and she makes really good money. She's probably the best tattoo artist in the fucking city.
Right. So I
And
guess that helps you a little. Bit.
She has a good reputation and shit, and she makes good money. However, when you make good money, fucking, they're gonna tax it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it works. The more you make, the more you're gonna pay in. So, every year she's onward and upward. She's making more money and doing cooler shit. But then every year she's gonna have to pay in more. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yep. That's America, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, you made money? Thanks for half of it. Thanks for giving it all back to me.
Speaking of taxes, you want to hear something that I found out that I thought was strange? With the NFL, you get game checks, obviously. You get paid
Sure,
every game.
of course, yeah.
Right,
You get paid per game, right?
Yeah. The taxes you pay in are different where you play the game.
Yes.
And it's the only company
Yes.
that's like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's
that's
weird
right.
shit.
Yeah.
Because they have to pay you, like if you, so, and I could be wrong on this, but my understanding of it, which is limited, but it seems to be correct, is so they sign a hard copy contract that's this much money over this much years, right? But that's just saying we're going to make sure you get paid that much money over these years. So they break
that's
it up
what
into
you're
these different
guaranteed.
payments that you're guaranteed.
Yes.
You can make more, but you're never going to make less. And then every time they play a game, they're getting paid a set amount that's negotiated in that contract, but it's paid for playing that game.
Yeah.
But they play those games in different states, so they have to follow
Abide
different
by that
states'
tax.
tax law.
Yeah.
Because some states there's just no taxes.
Yeah, like
on
Texas.
your wage. Like Texas, there's no wage tax.
Yeah.
So if you play a football game in the NFL in Texas, that check is gonna be fat shit.
Yeah.
But if you play it in New York, it's gonna be dog shit.
Yeah, there was a player.
Instead.
There was a player on the Raiders that they were like asking about. Are you excited to be playing in Las Vegas? And he was talking about. He was like, yeah. He goes, because I'm sick of the taxes in California. Because you're guaranteed, as the Raiders, you're guaranteed to play not only 8 games in California, but you also have to play the Chargers. So you have to play
Jesus.
9 games in California.
So that's
And
9
then
of your paychecks
if you're playing
that get
any
taxed
team
like
from
that.
the NFC West, you're also playing up to 10, 11 games in California.
Yeah.
And
You
you're
also-
getting
and
taxed
think about
up the
and
ass.
think about that too, because their hard copy guarantee is going to be gross. It's going to be say you sign. I don't know what kind of money they.
Well,
make
there's
it,
3
but
stadiums
Say
in
you
New
sign
York,
on
too.
for $10 million, right? Say
Right.
you sign on $10 million 3-year deal or something. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a
but
pretty
let's say that's what it
standard
is, right?
contract, yeah.
Then that's not $10 million after tax. That's just $10 million they're going to cut you checks for, and then all the
Exactly.
taxes that come out of that are going to. You could have a great year playing for one team where most of your games are low taxes, or you could play in New York
the
where you have to
reality
play
is-
3 different fucking New York teams. You're playing fucking like 15
I mean, the
games in
reality
New
is
York.
you're still making millions of dollars.
Of course, yeah.
Like,
you're not fucking
you're
doing
not
bad.
hurting.
Starving.
Yeah.
And the good thing, I guess, the caveat. I like that word. I like that you used it earlier. It's in my It's in my.
I
my,
logged that one in there.
Yeah, I
but then
logged it in. It's in
Cool,
my.
man.
my
You downloaded that one into your fucking shit.
The good thing about playing in like LA or New York is the fucking media coverage.
Well, that's the thing.
media
Like,
coverage, the
you're going to pay
endorsements,
more taxes,
yeah.
but guess what? Those are the 2 most major cities in
They're
the
the
country,
bigger markets.
and it's a big deal if you're
Yeah.
fucking around them. It's like Yankees. Sure, every time you get paid your fucking game check by the Yankees, like, yeah, sure, they're going to tax it. However, you're on the Yankees, and that's everybody's favorite team because it's the best baseball team.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's. I heard Nash say this. This is convoluted, but Kevin Nash talking about leaving WWF to go to WCW back in the day. He said, "It doesn't matter who's in the fucking World Series. Do you want to play on whatever team's in the World Series, or do you want to play in the fucking Yankees?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
you
what I
want
mean.
to
Like,
play on the Yankees.
the
'cause
guys
that's the
that-
best franchise.
the guys that want to fight in the UFC. So you're not
yep.
going to want to fight
why,
in
like,
Invicta.
you're going to go fight in Ryzen where you're going to get fucking KO'd by Gabby Garcia, who fights 2 guys at the same time or some shit because she's 6'8" and does roids. Like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's a shit show, and the UFC is the most exposure, the most amount of the guys that are universally considered to be the best in the world.
Yep.
That's where you go to find out if you're the real deal.
Unless you're like Cody Rhodes or something, and you take off from
You
WWE
go,
and you
I'm
just-
going to show you guys I'm one of the best in the world on my terms. And guys have done that now in UFC, and they go to Bellator because they're going, well, that's the next best thing.
Like
They
Rory-
go there,
Rory
and
McDonald.
now look at the landscape of Bellator.
Yeah,
with their
Bellator actually
fighters.
is we talked
It's
about
never
this.
been
They have
better.
a really good roster.
Never been better, dude. Roy McDonald is obviously the guy that's
Yeah.
the example, but so many people are doing that, and now you have ONE FC doing the same shit. They just got to fucking Demetrius Johnson, dude.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that. The
That's
second you
ridiculous.
get the consensus, like
pound for pound.
like he's either number 1 or number 2 pound for pound fighter to ever live.
Yeah.
And he now chooses to fight for ONE FC.
Yeah.
And
they-
you know
I
they're
don't
going to
know-
pay him.
I don't know how much of it was like him wanting to.
I think
or,
he
like,
got traded for
them
Askren.
wanting Askren. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Which I am so hyped
Which
about.
makes
That's my
sense. I mean,
God.
look, DJ's beat out that whole fucking division.
He wiped the floor with the division,
And he's
lost because
only
he
gonna
got
keep
mega
winning.
injured.
He's only going to keep
and that's
winning.
not to take away from Henry Cejudo because he's incredible.
Yeah.
But he lost finally after all these years, after completely strutting through the division however he felt like
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
doing
he was walking
video
backwards
game
through the
shit
whole
to
fucking
people.
ranking system. It's like,
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
it wasn't even
He
fair.
literally fought. You can't name a guy he didn't fight and beat like twice.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he finally fought Henry, and Henry got him. And then he went, it's time. It's time to try something different and move on. And ONE's probably a good place for him. There's a lot of really good guys there, too.
Yeah. Well, it's just going to be interesting seeing Askren. Like, I don't know how he's going to. I
Who's
mean,
he fighting Dillashaw, right?
No, he's fighting Robbie Lawler.
Really?
That's going to be awesome.
He's probably going to win that fight, actually.
Well, the thing is
I think he wins that. I
fuck
want
is
to see a dude-
Who's fighting TJ
Askren's one
Dillashaw?
of those things where, Cejudo is.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
was
they're
thinking.
doing a
yeah.
champ versus champ deal. That's going to be an incredible fight too. Askren fighting almost anybody in that division is going to be a nightmare. Because
is.
it's wrestling. Like everybody that knows wrestling,
Askren
Khabib,
versus Khabib. is
Cormier,
gonna be-
everybody, they all go, wait until you guys see how much Askren's going to come in and completely control
Yep.
the fight, whether anybody likes it or not. And it's not going to be a fun fight to watch.
Yeah.
It's not going to be exciting. He's going to piss pound and ground and pound guys and out wrestle
He's gonna
anybody
hold
that's
you
ever
the
stepped
fuck
foot in that
down.
division.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to just accept it.
Yeah, you're not going to go
See,
anywhere.
I love watching those fights, though, dude.
Me
I
too,
love,
but
I like
that's 'cause
Tyron
we're
Wood-
fans
That's
of
true.
MMA.
That's true.
Fans
Like
of
I love,
fighting.
I love
We get
Tyron
it.
Woodley, and I hate how he gets the shaft so hard, because he's like he has the same style as like Floyd Mayweather.
He's unbelievable, man.
yeah.
See, that's why I was
He's
such a
unbelievable.
fucking GSP fan. Like, he
Correct.
was just so good at controlling guys, but he also could strike it and when
Well,
he needed to.
That's to me, Tyron Woodley is
He's
the
very
GSP level
similar.
guy. Like
Yeah.
he fights a similar way,
Yep.
and he follows the same like mentality of just like full discipline, dedication, takes it mega seriously.
Yep.
He's a champion's champion, and he gets shit on for who the fuck knows why.
Well,
He just kills everybody. Everybody that is terrifying.
It's
that
just-
is
I mean-
very valid. Terrifying competitors like Darren Till, Wonder Boy,
Yeah.
those dudes. He handles
it
them.
just
He
comes down to
neutralizes them and
casual
handles them.
fans. I mean, I think casual
True.
fans,
Yeah,
they
casual fans.
it's like they want to see a knockout every time.
They do.
That's just how
And
it
to be
is.
fair,
They want to see the fucking
I mean,
Nunez.
I like to see
They want to
knockouts.
see Nunez Cyborg. Like, that's what they want to see.
Nunes sideboard was
I
insane.
fucking missed it.
That's
I
so
went,
fucked up.
I went downstairs to make a drink, and as I'm coming back up the stairs, I hear them all freaking out.
It's already over. Yep.
It's
Oh,
already
yeah.
over, and I thought they were fucking with me. And of
Nope.
course, I walk in, and I'm like, "What happened?" And
just
Vinny's like, "The
actually
fight's
over.
over." I go, "No, it's not." And I look over, and the fight's over. I'm like, "What the
Yep.
fuck?"
That's something I love. I love that Amanda Nunes won that
Yes.
fight because that was a rare opportunity in MMA for something that I've been waiting to see for a long time, which is not necessarily the women, it's not necessarily the men, it doesn't depend on weight class. What it is you take a single division, so it could be heavyweight, could be anything, and you go, here's a guy who's been through absolutely everybody. He's done everything, and he's completely proven that it's arguable that he is the best. And now the only other argument for whether or not they're the best is this other person who's also done that. So now you had this ultra rare opportunity where nobody failed drug tests. There was no controversy. There was no bullshit. Just the two undeniable best to ever fight in women's fighting faced each other, and we now have a decisive, clear-cut answer to who actually is the greatest women's fighter of all time. And it's not debatable.
And it's Ronda
It
Rousey.
is Amanda Nunes. It's Ronda.
All that build up, you're like, it's Ronda Rousey.
And it is Rousey. No. And it is fucking, what's her name? Tanya Avenger, who won the title. Cyborg went, very cool, that's my division. And she went, I quit. I'm out. Take my belt. I won't fight you. No way I fight her. I swear it's because steroids, even though she passed every test she took for the past 3 years. It's steroids. I know.
Wait,
it's
who
not
gave
I'm
up her belt
terrified.
again? I can't remember who it was.
Avenger.
Avenger, yeah.
Who's a good fighter and everything, but she was, when faced with Cyborg, went, forget that. Take my belt. No way I'm doing that.
I mean, what Nunez did was the way to beat her was just to smother her with strikes.
Well,
she really the only
she
way
said
to do it.
she said I want to get her not cool. I want to get her
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I want to get her to go into scrambles, because if she
just
gets
wanna
in a
play fucking
scramble,
UFC
I'm gonna
now, dude.
win her.
Yeah.
I just want to create a new fighter and just go to town.
Yeah. That's cool. And that's why I was so bummed about the Jones-Gustafson thing, because that was another opportunity where if Jones and Gustafson,
Gus is in
whoever
a weird
won, you're going to
spot,
go.
though.
There we go.
Gus keeps losing the fights he needs to.
He's a
really win.
he's a gatekeeper.
He's a guy.
He's a gatekeeper.
Yeah, he kind of.
I hate saying that because he's one of my favorite fighters of all time. He really is.
Too.
But
He's amazing.
Gustafson is one of those guys where he will always be good enough to get to the title fight, but he can't beat Cormier and he can't beat Jones.
But then
for some reason he
The
can't.
same. I mean, Cormier is almost the same way though. It's like he can't beat John Jones. So when John Jones is the
Jones
champion,
is just too good. He
he's
just
got,
is too good.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want about all the steroids and whatever way you feel about it. That's all. It's all valid because he had to have taken something. It doesn't mean he was necessarily cheating. He probably did at some point. That controversy is the black mark on his career, and it's so unfortunate because without that,
he doesn't need
he is
it. Is what I'm saying.
undeniably the best guy ever.
I've said that from the beginning. He doesn't need that.
I personally think Jones is the pound for pound greatest fighter to ever live.
Yeah, John Jones is my favorite.
You take
He's
even
my
with the
favorite
controversy,
ever.
I don't think
I would
it's
like to
enough.
see him and
He's
Anderson.
just too good.
You know,
I think
a
the
prime
weight
Anderson
difference
and
is
a
too
prime
much.
Jones.
Well,
It's
that's
like
not true because Anderson fights.
Anderson
light
can cut down to fucking.
heavy. Well, I don't even mean cutting though. I mean he can fight at light heavyweight.
John Jones got me. Like my whole thing is basically this. He's the reason I watched UFC. I wasn't really into
weird.
it until
I have a
I
way
watched. I
shittier
watched.
reason.
I watched it a little bit, like with Chuck Liddell and who the fuck else was there? Lyoto Machida. I thought he was pretty cool. Rashad Evans. Yeah.
Sugar
I'm
Rashad
starting to
Evans.
feel the Scotch.
So
now.
you got in at
I
a
got
really
in,
good
I
time.
got in right when Jones was in
Really
the Ultimate
good time.
Fighter. I watched Jones go through the Ultimate Fighter because we had.
There was a lot of good
And,
fighters at that time, dude.
I also had
Like
the
a
UFC.
lot.
Dude,
especially
the
in the
light
light
heavyweight
heavyweight
division was the
division.
best division
Yeah,
too.
the first UFC undisputed.
still
game
had
I
Liddell.
You had Liddell, you had Lyoto Machida, who
You
was
had,
incredible. You had
Rampage.
Shogun, you had
Forrest
Rampage,
Griffin.
you had Forrest Griffin.
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
awesome.
even Stephen
It was
Bonner.
stacked.
Yeah,
Absolutely stacked.
it was
Yep.
so cool. And then watching Anderson Silva
At middleweight,
at
Silva
middleweight
was
and
just
watching
blew my mind.
GSP. Like that's when I
GSP is
started watching
incredible.
UFC. Was right in the middle of all their careers.
All
in
of
the
their
beginning-
primes.
in the
Same
beginning
here.
of John Jones's career.
I started watching UFC when I knew what UFC was, and then I started getting in when I found out about Pride.
Yeah.
And then I started following Pride, and I would watch the run that Wanderlei Silva had there.
Yep. He
And
was ridiculous.
He was
Right.
ridiculous. But when seeing Wandy fight, I saw a lot. I saw a couple of his fights. Actually, watched him live. Like got the pay-per-views and shit. Watched fucking Pride at like 2 a.m. or whenever the fuck it was on stateside.
He was just a guy
And
that was just gonna.
they weren't
throw.
even live. I don't think They were
No,
they were recuts.
behind because
Yeah, they were
way
recuts.
the fuck over.
Because they had Boss and them do English commentary. Boss and what's his face? Mauro Ranallo. Those were the guys. It was
Yeah.
Boss and Mauro that did Pride when I saw it, anyways.
Morrow was he's weird because he does WWE too now.
He
So
does,
it's
and
kind
he's
of a
good.
Weird, yeah, he's decent. It's just I feel like when you're a commentator, you got to stick with one thing because you're gonna. I don't know. I feel like when you master commentary in one spot, that's where you got to be. Like if Jim Ross went and fucking just started commentating a fucking football game, I'd be like, what is he doing? Like this is not where he belongs. He doesn't
It'd
know.
be tough.
He doesn't
for
have
me
the same
to argue
knowledge.
that
He doesn't have
because
the
he
same
probably
knowledge of it.
does because he's a fucking
he might,
god
yeah.
of commentary.
Well, he
and he's
actually-
like
new-
a Oklahoma
new,
City dude.
new
yeah.
commentator.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee. He does WWE, and he's also signed on to commentate for Fox for
He's a-
football. now.
Really?
he
Yeah.
does stand up comedy.
And he does stand up comedy.
I don't
And
even- I've never even heard
and he
of him.
He's a
runs
he was a
Barstool
punter
Sports.
for the
He
Colts
was
for a long time.
Yeah, he was a wicked good punter, actually. Like really, really good. And
Dude, he was commentating the Packers game this week, and the punter threw a touchdown pass,
and he got
he was
so
like,
excited. Yeah,
he
actually,
like gets
I
all
wanna- I
fucking
wanna
hyped
pull
up
that
and
because that's so good.
It was fucking
You'll
hilarious.
recognize the voice. He does the commentating. Isn't he on NXT? Or am I drunk? Yes.
What? On what?
NXT.
Pat McAfee. Doesn't he do NXT?
NXT, I doubt
He
it.
does something on.
I don't know who does NXT anymore. I haven't
He
watched
does
it.
something
thought Mauro
on
did.
WWE Network.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure Mauro does NXT.
I know the Raw crew is a little different now with what's her face on there.
Is that what this is right here? He's so hyped about it. Let's go. That's hilarious.
Has the NFL's longest field goal. He's a man who's a black hitters, and here in Lambeau in December gives a cadence with the leg lift like Peyton Manning, never laces, and delivers a dime in the corner of the
Why is he so hyped? It's just a fucking kicker through a touchdown.
Exactly.
It's like what was it? It was like a 15-yard pass. What? That's amazing. Yeah, I have no fucking clue who that guy is. I've never heard of him.
He signed on with WWE for something. I don't know if there's a different show on WWE Network that's below NXT, maybe.
I mean, 205.
205.
This is below NXT,
Yeah.
I would say.
But he's
I forgot
he-
that. I forgot
They
that even
wouldn't say that,
existed.
but it is.
I
But
forgot
yeah,
that was
and
a
he
thing.
runs Barstool Sports. That's what he does.
Okay.
You've heard of Barstool? They're like
I've heard of Barstool.
they're like
yeah.
the onion of sports, but they're real.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're also the onion of sports.
Yeah, man.
So let's talk about Anabasis.
Yeah, I heard.
I mean,
heard
sure,
they're
yeah.
like a. You guys are grunge.
Yeah.
A grungy
They're
pop.
they're
sort
they're
of
a,
thing.
they're a ska.
It's like new wave grunge.
You guys are a ska grunge band.
Post grunge, yeah. No, yeah. Navis is my fucking band, dude. Prog metal band that I started like 2 years ago with a bunch of guys from around here.
Yeah. I know most of the guys.
What are their names?
I think I don't know the keyboardist.
Yeah, you wicked do.
I don't
Are
think.
you kidding me?
I don't think I do. Know him personally.
Steve Lacerdo.
No, the other one.
Oh, I was like, our keyboardist, Steve.
Steve
You
is.
wicked no.
Now, does he do synth or
Hallie
keyboard?
Baby.
He does everything, man. He does all. He
Love
does
Steve.
synth, keyboard,
Steve's a
everything.
fucking awesome guy.
Steve
Yep,
is great.
Steve's
yeah.
great.
He's a guy that I've met like twice,
Yeah.
or not met twice.
We should get Steve on here.
Yeah, we should get Steve on here.
Yep.
I met him.
should.
I met him, but I don't know him
He's
very
good,
well. But
dude.
every
He's
time I
fun.
see him, he's just always like he's always so happy to see people, and
He
he's
would have a
always
blast
he's
doing
always
this,
super
man. He'd fit
positive.
right
So
in.
shout out to Steve. You're a good
Yeah,
dude.
shout out to Steve, dude. He's one of my best friends, and I've known him since we were kids. We like some of the earliest playing I ever did. Like obviously, like like my first band, Perpetual Burn. I started with my older brother Jake, and shout out to Jake. Fucking,
Not this one.
no, my brother Jake,
The other
Reid.
one.
And when we were kids, before we even started that band, when we were kids, we would just jam like Metallica songs and shit. And
Yeah.
Steve would come over and play with us. He'd play guitar with Jake, and we'd cover Metallica songs and shit. And then we would just play video games, and that's how we started being friends. But yeah, I started this band with Pat Young, who was the clean singer and like lead guitarist in Spire. which is just a ridiculous
They
prog
are
metal
really
band
good,
from the
yeah.
area. Should, like, by all accounts, should have fucking made it, but
Yeah.
it just didn't fold that way.
See, I felt like they were real close.
Real
to that.
close. They were actually close. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a full length album that was incredible. Structures the Universe. You can definitely still get it, and if you ever buy it, it kind of kicks back to us because it kicks back to Pat.
really?
So yeah, but no, he that album was produced by Jamie King, which I know you know
Jamie King is
'cause
awesome.
I know you love Between
He
the Buried and
produces
Me.
most Between the Buried and Me
Yep,
albums.
he's incredible.
That's crazy.
And so they worked with him, and they, had it. They had a hell of a run. They were a band for like 14 years, and at the end of that band,
Yeah.
right when Spire was finishing up, their drummer like just couldn't commit to it anymore, and so they all talked, and he was leaving on good terms, and they asked me to join. So I learned the whole album on
Oh, that's right. Okay,
like a
so
month's notice.
You joined Spire and learned
And
all
I
that.
played 2 shows with them.
I
And
remember
by
that.
the time we played the second show, they had already kind of decided they were going to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and Pat were like, well,
What now?
we're working together.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing is with Burn, with my old band, Perpetual Burn, we were a band for like 10 years, and we had a few serious runs. Like we had our first run when we first started that was like a kind of a big deal around here because it wasn't really any bands yet around here.
I went to every show you guys had.
Yeah, yes, you did.
I think
dude. That's
there
how we
was-
became friends. It
Yeah.
was like you and Scott Warner and shit. You guys were at every show. Schwalik, before we ever worked with him, he came to all the old shows.
Yeah, because Paul was in that.
Yep,
band at
it
the
was
time.
Paul originally. Yep. Shout out to Paul Haggerty. Shout out to all the
Shout
all
out
the
to
Burn
Paul.
dudes, dude.
My,
all the Burn guys are awesome.
He's my cousin or something.
Is he?
Yeah.
Really?
His dad.
Paul's a great guy.
His
He is
dad
Paul
married-
Senior's a
yeah.
great guy too. Manager
Shout out
for
to
a
Uncle
while.
Paul.
Yep,
Shout out
they're
to
all
Cousin
great,
Paul.
man.
You guys are cool.
Shout out to everybody else.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, shout outs. No, but then when Paul left, we got Schwalik, and that was just unreal. And then me and Schwalik and Grant, obviously. Shout out to Grant Davis.
Shout out to Grant.
Fucking Grant. No, but and for what it's worth, Joe Motika.
Nope.
But me and
Nope.
me, Schwalik and Grant.
Probably the rudest man I've ever met is Joe Motika. Like
Really?
legitimately. I can't.
I
even-
bet that's real.
I can't even lie about that. Most disrespectful guy I've ever met.
Really?
Yeah, he kicked my dog once.
I love Joe, dude. I have
yeah,
no
I
problems
cannot
with Joe.
stand him.
That's hysterical.
I'm not fucking around.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
he's pretty good. I love you, Joe.
Fucking. But yeah, so what I was talking about is back when Schwalik joined, my brother was still in the band, and when Jake left Burn to go back to school, Pat from Spire
Yeah.
played with us. So Spire was like kind of
yeah,
on
okay.
hiatus for a while, and he played
He,
our
like,
last
subbed
like
for
2
you, yeah.
years. Yeah, when we were doing the full length album that we never put out, and like our best shit. And then when Burn broke up, I was just doing nothing for years, and Pat kind of got Spire back on track, and that they had their final run. So when he asked me to play and it didn't work out, I already had experience working with him and knew I wanted to work with him.
Yeah.
So we started this band, and we already had Brad DeVore, who is from Oswego, but he's like, he should have been friends with all of us, but he just wasn't around somehow.
Huh.
He's like one of my best friends in the band.
Shout out to Brad.
Yeah, shout out to Brad.
I don't know any.
I was going to
bands.
try to get him to come do this with me today because I figured he'd be the guy you guys knew the least out of the band.
Right. Yeah.
And it would be a cool way for you guys to get to know him and shit. But
we need a bigger studio.
we got, we'll figure it out for another time. But
We got like a cubic yard of
Yeah.
space.
yeah, so skip ahead 2 years and we're getting ready to put out a full length album finally.
Fucking awesome.
Which is nuts.
Fucking awesome. We're proud of you, man.
I can thank you.
Proud of all you
it's
guys.
Nuts. I busted my ass
Yeah.
like I never have on anything else I've worked on to make this
Yeah.
happen.
Did you do? You
We
did a
all
lot of
did.
the production then, right?
I produced the album. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has such a huge role in what we do, but
Yeah.
I just produced like the recordings and shit. You know
Yeah.
what
I mean, you guys are all pretty
Somebody has
proficient in even engineering in somewhat.
Sure, yeah.
I think all of you probably have somewhat sort of experience.
I would say like Dylan and Pat are probably the least versed in it, in the actual recording side of it, but still know a good amount about how to record. They just don't know the software and shit, you know. But they're weathered players, and so they know what they're doing.
Yeah, there's a level where like you know what sounds good.
Yeah.
You know?
But I produced the album, which was crazy. It's a bucket list thing for me to be able to produce a full length.
Is it
pro
all home
album.
studio shit, or was it?
Yeah, I have a home studio, and it's like actually legit. And we recorded all the guitars there, all the vocals, obviously all the bass, all the keys and everything. And then we a really good friend of ours, Brett Hoban at Hoban Studios. Shout out to his ass.
Shout out to Hoban.
We would rent his place out to do anything we needed a big room for. So like when we did drums, we did them at his place. We have on the first track of the album, Human Supremacy Illusion, we actually recorded a legit choir.
That's awesome.
For it, and we did it at Hoban's.
No
that
shit.
was a
That's crazy.
fucking nightmare. That was such a nightmare, but we pulled it off. Went in there going, "Hey Pat, you ever recorded a vocal choir before?" And he went, "Hell no."
Nah.
I went, "Okay, well," and he went, "Dave, have you?" And I went, "No." So let's give me some time to do some research. We'll figure out how to do this the right way.
Yeah.
We
So
ended
what
up
was
doing it a
different
cool
about
way.
a choir?
Well, traditionally, you got to get a big room and you get a bunch of room mics. You set them all up at good spots. And you test what they all sound like to make sure it's all in phase and everything. And then you just have people sing the parts and you record it. But the way we had to do it, because we didn't have a lot of people, so what we did was we had like 5 girls and 5 boys, and we had them, like me and Pat did all the arrangement work to figure out like the harmonies, right? So there'd be like 3 or 4 part harmony for the guys and for the girls, and then it layers into this big choir sound that sounds like fucking 60
have them
people.
do each
But
harmony
you have those
separately.
same 5 people do each different note harmony passage, right? And then when you put them all together, it just sounds like a huge choir. So that's how we had to do it. But it was a lot of planning and a lot
Really
of
pulling the wool over our eyes there, man. I was expecting like a whole, like 60 people.
No,
like
that's
risers and shit.
Nope. It's like 10 people.
Like that's
10
pretty
people
awesome,
standing in a room, and then and the other cool thing you can do that we did just to kind of support it even more, that like trade secrets, but I'll give this one away because it's really cool, and when you listen to it you'll never know, is so we have, I think there's 4 tracks of 5 guys singing each passage, each separate section of the harmonies, right? And then the same thing for the girls. And then there's all of those same parts as a MIDI programmed synth choir, like a keyboard, like a synth patch of a choir.
Okay.
And then you just mix the synth patch choir low, and then you get the fundamental weight and sound of the synth choir that still sounds like a real choir mixed in with the actual real
Just to
choir,
give it
and
more
it
volume.
just sounds huge. Yeah.
That's
So that's
fucking
how we did
crazy.
it, and it sounds gigantic. Sounds like a real choir.
That's awesome.
And obviously it is, but
Yeah.
you'll never notice that there's that stuff going on. And that to me is a really good example of the realities of producing a commercial album. The amount of times there's stuff like that done to facilitate what you're hearing, like the disparity between raw recordings and what you're actually hearing that you just assume is how it's supposed to sound is so gigantic.
Yeah, that's very
It's so
true.
giant. Like even
I mean,
our
Steven Wilson, like the way he produces things, he says he layers like 5 guitars to 8 guitars on the same track, like same. They're playing the same thing.
Yeah.
just to give it density.
because then he pans them all over the place
Yeah.
and creates such a dense mix. Devin Townsend's the master of
Yes,
that.
Devin Townsend's very good.
He's
at
like the creator of that.
that. Yeah,
I fucking love Devin Townsend.
Whoa!
yeah,
Just lost my headphones.
they're lost.
Sad. They're like cutting it. There we go. Okay, it's
that
just the
might have been me.
cable.
I think I stepped on the cable.
It's definitely
Yeah.
See what
it's definitely the
what
shit
I like
cable.
to do is if you take the cord and you go like this
You step on. Oh, and you kink it. Yeah,
and you kink it,
And now
then
you
let
can't hear
go.
shit.
Then you let go of it. You can hear all the sound at once.
it's like a hose.
That's a shout out to Mesh Hedberg. That's one of his jokes.
That's
shout out to hoses. Shout out to kinks.
Yep. Fuck hoses, dude.
Kinks. Yeah. So yeah. Anywho, the album, I can finally say officially comes out January 25th on all platforms and everything. You'll be able to get it on Apple Music and iTunes and Spotify, all that shit.
That's awesome.
We'll be having, like, we have the physicals. We have everything. We're just going to roll them out. You know, you'll be able to buy them right on our Bandcamp. Obviously, you'll be able to buy them in person from us and shit, too. They'll be at shows, all that stuff.
You guys
we've got
buying
merch stuff in the works.
You gonna do just physical CDs with download codes, or I know a lot of bands. There was some bands I played with that used to do little flash drives. They would give you those and say, "Hey, here's our album." It's kind
I'm
of
not
weird.
sure. We've looked into that.
It's a weird digital sort of
doing
platform.
download codes works well enough.
Yep.
And it's cheaper, so it's like, you know, money saving thing.
Right.
The reality of the situation for us is that, so we're a firm belief, or I'm a firm believer in this idea that you need to see where you want to be and then aim for that. Like, if you see a local band that's really good, don't aim to be as good as that local band. Look at Periphery.
Right.
And try to be Periphery, because they're the fucking big dogs in modern progressive metal right now.
Yeah.
And if that's your genre, that's your market, who's the best? Who's the biggest? Who's doing everything right? Now try to do what they're doing. Don't try to do less than that, because you probably aren't going to get to their level.
Yeah.
But that's how you're going to get to a pro level. So that's like the past year. Every single move we've made has been trying to do everything we've seen any successful band do that's worked, and avoid any pitfall that we've seen that doesn't, you know?
Yeah, even...
And then the biggest thing that we learned, and that is a huge factor, is when you see a band that's really successful, the reason they're really successful is because they work their fucking asses off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you think about their music. They work their asses off. That's the only way to make it. There is no other way. You have to put in the man hours. So we started doing that too, you know, and being really, really careful with booking.
I think it's a lot of bands don't treat it as a job, and it's sort of
they don't treat it as a job. They don't treat it as a career.
Right.
They don't.
It's a side
think that
thing.
it's marketable.
It's a side project. Is what it is.
Well, I mean, it was always easy for us to look at it as a career, because we've all been doing it our whole lives and always never thought of anything else as an option for a career, you know? All of us just, of course, we're going to be pro musicians, because that's the only thing I'm going to fucking put time into.
Right.
Like, I don't have a college degree. I have my GED. Every single move I've ever made in my life has been towards being a pro musician.
Yeah.
And
it paid off,
close,
man.
man.
You're one of the
Super
most talented
close.
guys we all know, and it's awesome that you're at
Thanks,
this
man.
point now, and it's awesome that you're here.
I think it's rare when you get a group of guys that are that talented.
That's
Yeah,
that's the
that's-
craziest
That's the
thing.
hard part.
That's the craziest thing. That's the intangible. That's what I say to everybody when they say, you know, what's the number one thing you could say
Proficiency in the
for
instrument.
being successful
Yeah.
as a working musician, or in a not even that, because really the key to being successful as a working musician is monetizing absolutely everything. Is doing lessons, doing master classes, doing like Twitch streaming and shit. Like, just name of avenue you could possibly investigate to be lucrative, and go after it with everything you got. Because if all you're going to do is try to make money off of ticket sales, good luck. And I'm sure some guys do, but you're going to have a lot more comfortable of a life if you monetize more than one avenue.
Right.
And that's the key. But a big factor, like, because I always tell people, if you're going to be in a pro band, you're trying to start your own band, and you want to elevate past the local scene, and you want to be able to play with major bands and do real shit that you see your fucking heroes do. To do that stuff, there's really only one intangible lucky thing that takes place, because if you work hard enough, the opportunities are going to come. I've already seen that. I've experienced that now. With this band, I've experienced that. As long as you keep staying the course and busting your ass, then it's going to happen.
Someone's going to notice.
However, the intangible is managing to find members for
People
that
that will
band
also
that
do
are
that.
actually have the same vision.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to find. So we have 6 guys in our band. It's so easy to find 4 guys that have what it takes, and the other 2 don't. Yeah. And in our band, there's 6 guys, and all of them have what it takes and contribute. And that is the biggest factor in our success, is that all 6 of us bring something to the table. Like I can produce our albums for our whole career. I'll always be able to produce our albums. It'll cost us nothing. In-house, I can produce absolutely everything and put out a pro product. All we have to do is pay for mixing and mastering, which we want to do anyways, because that's going to get like our new album was mixed by Adam Bentley from Arch Echo, which is, he's an up-and-coming dude. He's phenomenal. He killed it. And then it was mastered by fucking Ermin Hamidovic, dude, who mastered DTP's last album, Transcendence.
That's
He
cool.
mastered Periphery 3. I'm assuming he's going to master Periphery 4 whenever that's done. He's incredible, dude. He's a highly sought-after guy.
So even having that connection.
And he did it.
Even having that connection is going to help.
And he I mean, by all accounts that we are able to access, he liked the album and shit. He liked our stuff and thought it was the real deal. So that's a huge bump for us.
Yeah.
But that's all we had to really pay for, and that's what we crowdfunded, was like, to get the album to be pro, we have to press it and we have to get real guys to mix and master it.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way it's going to sound as good as it does and look as good as it does.
And you got enough support
But,
through that,
yes,
through the crowdfunding.
yeah,
too, so.
Man, can't thank anybody enough for that, dude. It's crazy.
That's really cool.
That was that's crazy that we were able to raise that money. But
what did you use to get the word out on that, though? What platforms?
what do
did
you
use?
mean?
Just
Well, so we
Facebook
did
and social
Indiegogo.
media?
We used social media like crazy. Yeah. Yep. And Steve Lacerdo being in the band is a huge help, because he has a fucking film production degree.
Yeah.
So he can, anytime we do music videos, we need like social media content, he can always handle doing all that. He specializes in editing, and he's incredible at that. And then he can play as competent as any of us to be able to play the stuff. That's the weird thing, is that it seems in this band, in every band I've ever been in, and you can definitely relate to this, there's such a focus on can we learn these songs, can we play these songs, all that shit, right? This is the first band I've ever been in where
they can all play the song.
Everybody can play the stuff, and it's a prerequisite for even walking through the fucking door.
Right.
Like, there's no question. I don't have to think for 1 second if anybody in this band is going to fuck shit up or not be able to play the stuff. They're gonna play it, and I don't even have to think about that. It's a prerequisite for even stepping foot in the band. And then all of the work and all the stuff we focus on is all of the other shit.
Exactly.
It's all of the social media work, the marketing, the business stuff.
Yeah.
And that stuff is full-time job for all 6 of us.
Yeah.
It's
And if
tough.
you're good at that,
And we try
and
to.
especially with having a guy like Steve who can do that and make things look appealing.
Well, that's what makes our band have such a big likelihood of succeeding in the industry, is that I can produce all our stuff at a pro level whenever we need
and
albums.
there's no dependence on anything
Zero
else.
Zero dependence on anybody else. Steve can do all of our pro music videos, any content we need online, all playthroughs, all that stuff. It's always going to look pro from a schooled, legit guy directing. And
we
everything.
had him do our band photos.
And he's incredible.
Yeah.
And then Pat has a degree in music business and manages us and can navigate all that stuff. And then AJ works he works at a fucking
music store,
merch place, like like tour supply company.
Yeah,
and shit.
okay.
He works at one. And so he just knows so much about the merchandising side.
Yeah.
So he always handles all of our t-shirt orders and stuff. He actually designed the layout for the album and put that all together, did the orders for all that. He knows how to do all that stuff. So everybody in-house has some extra, like you have the initial prerequisite of being a world-class musician that can play our stuff. and you just have to have that. But then they all have this extra
Yes.
piece of the puzzle to make it so we can be self-sufficient for our whole careers. We don't have to sign we can't figure out an excuse for why we would even need to sign a label deal.
If you weren't able to do all that yourself, it just gets way too costly.
Yes,
and
that's where it's easier to sign. But
Right.
for us, we can do it all, and we can do it better because we're gonna care about the product way more than anybody that's gonna.
That's
be
true.
paid.
You're
They're
just
not gonna
another.
give a fuck.
Yeah, you're just another.
We're
brand you're trying to
invested
get
in
out.
ourselves.
Yeah.
So we're always gonna be pushing for that. You know.
Yes.
So I mean, I feel super lucky to have found these guys and this, like, kind of, I just put my head down, started a band, put my head down, got to work, and busted my ass like I never have on anything else, and just kind of like made that my mission statement in life was, I'm going to treat this like a career I've never perceived before, and I'm just going to push as hard as I can and see where it goes. And everybody else also did that, and now I look back up and I kind of smell the roses and go, holy shit, like, look what we've been able to do with this. And now we're about to officially release a full-length pro
It's really
album.
cool when you see physical copies too. You're like, this is
that
what
was
we did this.
that was a
Like,
big deal.
Yeah.
Is there any way I'd be able to get a physical and have you guys sign it?
100%. Yeah. We're gonna be
I'm
doing.
so
We're
excited.
gonna have
I'm
to.
really excited
We
for
already
it.
have people that want to get it signed and shit. And that's weird.
I still
That's
have a,
weird to
yeah,
me.
it's funny.
It's
I
cool,
still
but
have
it's weird.
It's
for
weird 'cause
me,
we're
yeah.
I still
It's
have
weird because
a-
we're friends, yeah. But I like, mostly it's family and friends.
well,
stuff,
I
right,
still have
dude?
the
want one
first
signed.
Perpetual Burn album with you guys all on it.
Which is cool.
That's pretty
cool
cool.
shit, because if this band ends up making it, which hopefully we do, and we're really trying to,
Yeah.
then that
totally
could be
have an
worth some
ulterior
eBay
motive.
money, dude.
Yeah, eBay.
That
dude.
could be worth some eBay money, because people are going to go, well, obviously it would depend how big we get, but let's say we get huge, and then people go, wait, all those dudes were in bands before. What were their old bands like? Then the Spire shit starts selling, and the Burn shit starts selling.
Then the Burn shit finally sells.
I go, hey, Paul, dude.
Here's your royalties.
I need you to send me a box of old Burn CDs so we can eBay them.
Yeah.
We're going to sign them and eBay them. He'd be like, yup. Fuck yeah, we're doing that. Yeah, man, that's so hilarious. But yeah, new Anabasis album's coming out in just a few weeks here.
Was it self-titled?
No, the album's called Of Conviction.
Oh, that's right.
That's the title track.
It's available
off it.
on all platforms. The 25th.
Yep, it's going to be on everything, dude.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Is it going to be on the Zune Marketplace?
That's a tough. I'm not sure. So the thing is because we're self-releasing right now. We just went through a company that handles publication for you, like
Sort
CD
of like
Baby
what we
or
do with
whatever.
Pinecast.
Yeah, kind of same deal. Yeah. And so they make sure that it gets on everything for you,
Right.
and official, like the right way. So maybe they do it on the Zune market.
Does it exist anymore?
However, I don't think that exists.
I don't think so.
I'd be surprised.
No, they probably got stomped out by Spotify and Apple Music.
That's
don't
like
even think-
saying
they don't even make Zunes
that's
anymore.
like when a video game comes out and you go, did you guys make a port for the Nokia N-Gage? You did?
Do you have
did?
GameSpy
Okay.
support?
Yeah, you have GameSpy support? Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, we're all freaking
appreciate
proud.
Because
of
I
you
know
guys.
you work hard on that shit. So
I work very, very hard to do this. And that alone has been a big change in my personality too, because I feel like back in the day I would see a band or a pro wrestler or an MMA fighter or anybody that is doing anything,
you know how hard they're working.
and you just, when you do it,
Yeah.
when you do the work all the way from shitty demos we had recorded to pro album that we made, the amount of work and the amount of shit that it took to make that happen over pretty much an entire year it took to make that album, I now see things differently. Like when I see a band that I personally don't like their music,
Yeah.
but they're doing big shit,
You know, that
I
they put the
know
work
there
in.
is no way to get there.
Yeah.
and it's by luck. Like they have to be doing something right.
Unless
So
you're
you
the,
just
unless
find
you're
a
the
lot
fat
of respect
neck,
for a
unless
lot
you're
of
the fat
different people.
neck guy.
Fat neck guy is even. I even have respect for him though.
Yeah, he
What about-
does work
what
his
about,
ass.
He
uh,
saw the money train go by.
Yeah.
He saw there was 5 seconds for him to jump on, and
Yeah.
he took the jump. And
What
went,
about,
wait a minute, I'm making money on this.
What about CeeLo Green?
CeeLo Green, I do not support that guy. Because he was on the money train and went, time to say some stupid shit and get kicked off of that
He was
money
only
train.
homophobic and like advocating rape. I mean,
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
And then he's got to be going, why the fuck are my albums not selling anymore?
Yeah.
He's looking in the mirror going, what did I
Well,
do?
doesn't he have? He had 2 songs or something, didn't he?
he had.
Sure.
You make me crazy.
A song.
That's not him.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Yeah, it is.
That's not CeeLo Green.
Yeah, it's
No
it's,
way.
It's he was part of Gnarls Barkley,
Okay, that's true.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it
That's
was
fair
Gnarls
enough.
Barkley. Yep.
and then
I mean, that's kind of.
What's
I
the
didn't.
other one?
I forgot he was in that
Get
deal.
you.
That's the one, and it's actually "fuck you,"
Oh yeah.
but they censor it, which is
Really?
stupid.
That's
Yeah,
the dumbest way to censor.
is that cool?
Ever.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Good music, right?
Yeah. You
CeeLo.
can't, you can't do that.
CeeLo and 6ix9ine, pioneers, dude.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's the one.
Just legends.
Ugh.
Icky got the blicky Treyway.
Ugh.
So what I'm gonna do is play some music from the album, and I don't know if you want to do it. Do you want to just do it here?
You can play a full fucking song. We don't. We're good, dude. Promote away.
What's your favorite? What's the single?
My favorite song is not. We're not going to play that.
Oh, okay.
Because that's like the big finale of the album.
True.
If you want to hear my favorite song on the album, personally, I love all the stuff. It's very personal, obviously. Like a lot of that stuff is based on demos and shit that I had before, like from years where I just had no clue what I was doing, but I was writing anyways. Which is the same for a lot of the other guys too. But my favorite song on the album is Deeper, which is the last song, because it came together at the last second. Literally when I went in the studio on the last studio day to do the drums for the album, the last thing I recorded was Deeper. And when I recorded it, that hadn't been finished being written yet. And they finished writing it that night and did a final demo for me to track drums to that night and uploaded it to our Dropbox in the morning as I was driving to the studio.
That's cool.
So I got there only to track that song, and they went, "We finished it. We're good." We barely pulled it off, and then I sat down and had to listen to the demo, hear the drum part, and then record it.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is like a lot of times when you play a song live so many times, you get to a point where you're like, dude, we should have done this here.
Correct.
Or we should have done this
and
here.
here's the thing. Then you listen to the album back and you go, we should have done that. And there's no going back.
Yep.
There's wicked no going back. But yeah,
But
I would
it's
say,
always you're gonna do that forever though. That's literally gonna be infinite.
well, I'll let
You'll
you guys
always-
pick. So here's what I'll do. Do you want a fast, aggressive song? Do you want a like catchy kind of all over the map song? Or do you want like a love letter to all of the bands that came before us kind of song, like Symphony X, Dream Theater shit?
I like the idea of the love letter.
Yeah. me
Okay,
too.
then
For
what
sure.
you should play
For sure.
is Terminal. That's
Okay.
the song you should play.
Well, we'll play that at the end of this podcast. That'll be the way we go out.
Cool,
which
man.
is coming up soon. Dave's got a date with Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
I'm hyped to see that shit, man. Whatever. I'm
heard
glad
there's
you brought that up
dinosaurs.
because that's cool to talk about. I heard there was dinosaurs
Yeah.
in that movie.
Yeah,
I'm not
I didn't mean
100%
to, I didn't
sure.
mean to spoil that part for you. There are dinosaurs.
No,
in the movie.
I recently read the first book, the Michael Crichton book, and I had always heard it was an amazing book, and that was like, fuck books. I'm a kid who gives a shit about
If
books.
it has to do with dinosaurs and I have to read a book about it, like no, I'd rather watch
That's
dinosaurs
what I
on
thought.
the big screen.
But then I'd always heard the book was amazing, and
Jurassic
everybody
Park? It
always
probably
says,
was.
Yeah,
Jurassic
probably
Park was a
was.
book.
yeah. So in 1989, Michael Crichton wrote the first book, and it came out in like 90. Instantly, Spielberg was like, "Nope, I am making a movie of that.
Yeah.
That's perfect." And then Michael Crichton actually wrote the screenplay with Spielberg for the film. So that, in my opinion, the film is better than the book.
Right.
I think the movie's better than the book. I think it's a tighter story. I will say this. in the book, Muldoon, which is the raptor dude who's hard, wicked hard in the movie, the clever girl, that guy, he is twice as hard in the book and lives. He doesn't die in the book. He's just hard
Muldoon.
and helps survive and everything.
That's
Wait,
the thing.
clever
is-
girl. I don't remember that guy.
He's the dude in the beginning. Shooter! Shoot
Oh,
that
Muldoon,
guy.
okay.
Who's the fucking... the whole movie, he's warning them, going, the raptors are dangerous.
This shit's
they
gonna
shouldn't
happen."
be here. This is a shit idea.
Yeah.
And then the raptors get out, and he's the first guy to go, I'm going after the raptors. And he gets killed. But he tries to save him, you know? In the book, he fucking, the whole time they're talking about everything and they're all going, he's going, the T-Rex is bad. Because, like, you know, shit hits the, you've all seen the movie. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
close to the book. The shit hits the fan. Newman screws him over. Newman. It is Newman from Seinfeld. It's just Newman.
Hello, Newman.
Fuck Newman. His name's Nedry. His name's Nedry in the movie.
The guy that gets
Dennis
spit on.
Nedry,
He gets
yeah,
spit
guy
by the
spit on.
I
yeah.
like him because he was in Space Jam.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, he was the basketball player, right?
No,
Yeah.
he was,
He was the best. He was the best basketball
he
player
was
of all
Stan,
time.
dude,
Yeah.
come on.
Not Jordan. So in the book, when Nedry screws him over to try to sell the DNA of the dinosaurs, and the power goes down and shit, and then they're out on the tour and they lose power, and the T-Rex gets out and fucks up the Jeeps and tries to kill people and
The
stuff.
classic Jurassic Park
Yes,
stuff.
that like one of the coolest moments in the whole movie that made everybody shit their pants. It's pretty close to exactly the same in the book. And when that shit goes down, the second they pull up to the T-Rex part, Muldoon doesn't say shit. He's in the shadows, in the background, chain smoking, just sitting there watching the monitors,
Yeah.
just going, this ain't good. This ain't good. He knows somehow. He's just hard, and he knows that it's bad. So he says nothing, takes off down into the garage, and gets a fucking rocket launcher and throws it in one of the like utility jeeps that they have for like emergencies, and is just waiting. Like, something's gonna go down. I fucking know it, and I'm going after that T-Rex if it happens.
Yeah.
And then half that book is him chasing the T-Rex down, trying to find it.
That's hilarious.
And
I gotta
when they're-
rewatch the first one.
when they're fucking talking to him in there, they're talking about the T-Rex, and they're like, we got the T-Rex. Like, what are you talking about? And he's just like, the T-Rex is the least of our concerns. If those raptors get out of their enclosure, there's no telling what they're going to do to us. There's no way. And the raptors are way smarter in the book.
yeah.
They're terrifying.
Well,
dude.
the book is gonna. The thing is, the book is always gonna have more.
It just
time
has
to
more.
explain.
And I'll
detail.
say the book has way more info, but at the expense of a tighter, cleaner plot.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a
Is like
little
sometimes
bit
when you
more
short
all
it
over
down
the
into a
place.
movie, it gets better because
It's.
you
I
can
think
do
it's.
that.
That's why I like the movie more. I think it's a
think-
tighter ship.
I also think a lot of people don't like the movie version of a book better because they have read the book, and when you read a book, you picture it all in your mind.
Sure.
Same.
And then when you go
argument with
see it in
Star
a
Wars.
movie-
But that's why the Jurassic Park book is so good.
Yeah.
Because if you see the movie first, it doesn't hurt anything with reading the book.
Right.
And it gives you the characters. Because when you read
That's
the
the
book,
thing. You have to
everybody
make up the
is so
characters.
well written. You don't have to make up the characters. Because when you're reading about Nedry, you just see Newman. When you're reading about Arnold, the tech guy that's in the control room, you just see Samuel L. Jackson.
So that's just good casting.
Yeah,
though.
it's incredibly good. It just it speaks so well for the casting.
Yeah.
Most of all, Ian Malcolm. The dialogue was written in the book, I mean, years before they made the movie. Not many years, but a few years before they made the movie. So there was no chance he wrote that book automatically thinking about who was going to play who in a movie.
Right.
And that dialogue reads in the book, for Ian Malcolm's character especially, like it was written for fucking Jeff Goldblum. Like, it has the pauses in his speech and everything.
I fucking love Jeff
It's
Goldblum.
made for Goldblum.
I
So
fucking
that's
love Jeff
why when you see, like, after you watch the movie again, when you read the book, you just realize how incredible of a casting director they had. Because the cast is dead on.
Yeah,
man.
that's like
It's so
It's
good.
weird because you don't really. I feel like casting is such a huge part of the fucking how
If you have a shit
movie
cast,
turns out.
it's fucking over.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If
That's
your cast
why.
is shit,
That's
there's
why I
nothing
love
you can
Game
do.
of Thrones so much, man, and the Lord of the Rings movies too. The Lord of the Rings movies had a perfect casting.
And that's why that's one of the things, the number one things that hurt the Star Wars prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Because the cast is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then there's Anakin. And he's such a key character with such a bad actor playing him that it hurts the credibility of the whole film series.
Yeah, I think
It's a bummer.
They
It's-
also, I think it was too political. The first two were.
Yeah,
Sure.
kids don't want to read about trade deals and stuff or watch
No.
trade deals.
I
find him more
I thought he
entertaining
did.
as
I
that.
did like him in the third one when he becomes sort of evil.
Darth Vader.
Sure.
He does
Sure.
a
The
good
third one
job
was
with
really
that.
good.
But I
But
think
the second one is the real one.
Yeah.
That's the bad
Yeah.
one. The first one, the little kid's fine. It's a kid actor.
I mean,
you
he's
don't,
not-
you
he's
never
not
question
fine
it.
now.
yeah, there's not.
I think he's dead.
Oh yeah, isn't he in some shit?
He's
Who?
in a lot of
The
trouble.
kid that played
kid
Anakin
that played
is
him,
a
didn't he
kid.
Oh
fucking-
yeah, dude.
What?
Didn't he
Dude,
do?
he is fucked.
Yeah, he did
beyond
some
repair.
What?
Yeah,
I don't know about
He
this.
got in a lot of legal trouble
oh,
over.
yeah.
I think it was drugs. It's got to be
I
drugs.
think
I'm
it was
already. I already love this.
yeah. No, this was. I remember seeing this
I've heard
a
nothing
couple
about
years
this.
ago though. It was a while back.
Yeah, Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, Jake
Oh,
Lloyd.
what the fuck?
Yeah, nobody knows.
I mean,
that
who
is.
gives a shit though?
Unless he's related
But-
to Christopher Lloyd.
Ewan McGregor was unbelievable in those
I mean,
movies
yeah.
as Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Had to learn not to speak with an English accent because he's fucking English,
That's
but to
right.
speak specifically like the actor who played Obi-Wan in New Hope,
Yeah.
and nails his voice for the whole
Oh
trilogy.
yeah, I didn't even
Nails
think
it.
about that.
And you never question it. He just is Obi-Wan. You never even think of it. But
Yeah.
he doesn't sound like Ewan McGregor. He sounds like the guy who
sounds like
played
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, yeah. Yeah.
It's actually sad. He got arrested for reckless driving and driving without a license and resisting arrest, and then they diagnosed him with schizophrenia, where he remains in a psychiatric facility.
Whoa.
That's Anakin for you, dude.
That's what. That's the curse of playing Anakin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That's
Hayden
why you
Christensen
don't-
doesn't even act anymore, does
Yeah,
he?
he does.
He
He's
does?
in a new movie, and it looks like shit. It looks like dog shit. And you see him, and he's doing everything in his power to look hard, and he just can't. Because
No.
second you see him, you go, "Oh, he can't act, so this is gonna be good."
Yeah.
You just know. You know it.
Yeah,
you know
man.
going in, it's not good.
Fucking A, dude.
Fucking Anakin.
I like to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
I love to be proven wrong.
I gotta watch. I gotta watch Jurassic Park 1 when I get home. I also want
it.
to watch
It's a good one.
American Psycho for some reason.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
love that movie.
That's a good one.
Oh man.
That's another movie based on a book.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say the book is wicked fucked up. I've read that book.
Never read it. Heard it was way, way more fucked up.
Yeah,
than the
it was
movie.
really bad. It's like chilling. It really is. It's longer than the movie, obviously, and it goes into like his past, but it goes in about how he's like, he just does he like kills animals, and it goes into wicked
always
vivid
good.
detail about him killing animals and torturing animals.
Yeah, that
nothing
sounds
wrong with
about
that.
right.
Yeah.
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 Does it still maintain the ambiguity from the film where like you don't know for sure
Yeah.
if he ever did anything he
Yeah.
actually did or not?
I think in the book it's more clear that he didn't do any of the stuff.
Okay, word.
In the book, it's more clear that he didn't do anything. The movie definitely had a better.
That's one of the.
Have you
I
seen
think that's
American
one of the
Psycho?
cool things
I
about
don't
the
think
film.
I've seen all
It's
of it.
really good.
One of the
It's
good.
really
I think one of the cool things about the film is that you could lean either way, and you're not necessarily wrong. Like he might have done all that
Yeah.
stuff, but it's actually possible that he didn't, and the
Yeah.
whole time it was just in his head.
And I
is
fucking
nuts.
I love the
That's cool.
how all the characters in the movie are cookie cutters. They're all the same guy. They're all
they're all the
like
same.
heterosexual 30-year-old white businessmen. They all have the same haircut. They're all clean shaven. They wear the same suits.
Yeah,
And,
everything. They
like-
all have their fucking business
Yeah,
cards. And
there's
shit.
a
Yeah.
key plot point about business cards. Like that's a running theme about how they're all so identical, except the business cards are all so intricately different from one another, and that's how you could. That's how he tells everybody apart because they're
Yep.
all so
their
fucking
taste in
up
business
their own
cards, or
asses.
whatever. It's so funny.
When he's just describing, it's the perfect. Oh my god, look at the sheen on that.
He's seeing Rad
He-
wants to
he's-
kill the guy and shit because his business card's better than his.
Dude, it's a really good movie.
It's
You
a
should
good
watch
movie,
it.
dude. Yeah,
It's really
movie.
good.
It's Christian Bale. He's incredible.
And he
so-
is so fucking
He's
jacked
good
in
in
that
that-
movie.
he's good in
and
that
then he
one.
did The Mechanist, where he was like anorexic
Yeah,
right
0
after it.
pounds.
Yeah.
He was like 80 pounds.
And then after that, he did Batman Begins and got
Yeah.
roided jacked.
Yeah,
Can't be good for your body, dude.
No, he's cut years.
guaranteed.
But he's also
I mean, he's
rolling.
he's rolling. So his years that he has left, probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, he's one of the best actors ever. So
Yeah. Another movie you should watch, Seth. You've probably seen it. It's also based on a book, and then the book's really good. The Road. With
I've
Viggo
never
Mortensen.
seen The Road or
I'm not
read
going
it.
to say
Heard it's
anything else.
amazing. Yeah.
Watch it.
watch it.
Yep.
Okay, I've heard it's good. I've
Yeah.
heard the book
I'm
is
not
good
going to say
too.
anything else about it, but just watch it.
Uh,
You were talking about movies where you're like
Movies-
how people would act.
yes,
That's the road.
that's how
That's
people
the road.
act. Yep.
Yep. It's
That's all
It's-
that matters. Is
yeah,
the
it's
acting
like-
realistic.
I think the best book to movie that I've ever read, like book that a movie was made based on it, is the book that Blade Runner was based on. Well, first off, to preface that, Blade Runner is my favorite film of all time.
it's so good.
So
It
of
is
course
so
I'm
good.
gonna read the book.
Yep.
But the book is "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep" by Philip K. Dick.
Okay.
Philip K. Dick is a really prolific sci-fi writer from like the '60s and shit. Who did? I think he did Total Recall.
Yeah.
He did. I want to say maybe Minority Report. He's done a lot. He's done a lot of stuff that got turned into.
got a resume.
movies. He has an Amazon series called Philip K. Dick's like Electric Dreams or something like that, and it's
heard
all
of
just
that.
like
Yeah, I've
it's
heard of
like
that.
a serial series on like random stories from his books and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blade Runner is my favorite movie ever, and the book was unbelievable, and it's different than the movie in a lot of ways, but it's just.
Did you read the book first or the?
I read the book years later. I saw the movie
You've
when I was
seen
young.
Blade Runner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
To
I wanna
me,
see the
that's
new one. I'd like to see
inarguably the
that.
best sci-fi film ever made. The new
Yeah.
one is just as good,
Yeah,
dude.
I
It's
have to watch the new one
unbelievable.
still.
I heard the new one was really good. Joe told me that.
I'll
actually.
tell you this: watch Blade Runner first. Watch the first one first.
Then
watch
go
it,
watch the second
and
one?
then as
The new
soon
one?
as you're able to watch the second one, so that it's fresh on your
Yeah.
mind.
One of my coworkers
Because there's a
told me
lot
to
of
watch them.
tie-in.
I told him I was gonna watch them back to back, but I ended up playing Madden instead. Because that's what I do with my free time.
Yeah.
When I'm not here at work, I'm playing fucking Madden or Game Developer Tycoon. I literally played it for.
Game Dev Tycoon, so nasty.
Yeah. Oh
it's
my
so
God.
nasty.
Okay,
dude.
here's a quick story about Game Dev
I
Tycoon.
have it on my fucking phone. And
Here's a
maxed
quick
it
story
out.
about Game
It's
Dev
dumb.
Tycoon. You can ask Seth about this. Saturday before the UFC fight, I got here with Vinny at like 5:30.
Not even before. Like you were playing Game Dev Tycoon all the way through the entire night.
You know how Steam keeps you play on Steam at all?
I played it on my phone when it first came out. It was a mobile game.
When you're on Steam, you can shift tab, and it shows you how long you've been playing your current session. And I capped off when I was leaving here at 8 hours. I sat right here and played
Jesus.
Game Dev Tycoon for 8 hours straight the other night. But I've played the game since it came out. I remember getting it when it was like it's.
All we
Like,
heard the whole time was the.
Yeah, the bubbles going
Like
up.
the bubbles
I'm like,
fucking popping.
Whenever anybody leveled up. So we're sitting.
Dude, I love that.
We're sitting here playing, right? And I finished that session the next day watching football, and I played it for another 6 hours straight, and I beat the game. You know, I made it to the last
Yeah, you
year.
did whatever.
Yeah, and so I just immediately started up a new one. Because I can't stop playing it. Because it's so easy to play with shit going on. Like I'm playing it and
It's
watching
so
football,
good.
or I'm playing it and watching The Office. You know. So we're sitting here, and I have almost all these achievements, and I decided, I'm gonna go out and get the rest of the achievements. I only had like 20 left.
Yeah.
So it was like make a game with a bad combination, but get it sold well or whatever. But I realized I never got a 10 out of 10 game before.
Really?
At least not on Steam. Probably when I bought it off of whatever the fuck they sold it on, like GOG or whatever when it first came out.
Yeah.
But it didn't have achievements. So I was sitting here, and Vinny's sitting right where you are, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna make a game about you. I go, we're gonna call it Coin Man Quest, and it was a prison escape adventure game marketed for children. And made it as a complete joke, fucked with all the sliders, everything. 10 out of 10. I told Vinny I had a bottle of Kraken sitting here, and I had a glass of wine. Great combo, by the way. Totally didn't get lost on my
Doesn't
way
sound
home.
like it's a
Right?
great combo.
Totally didn't get lost. Totally didn't accidentally walk to my old apartment thinking I was going back there that I haven't lived in fucking 2 years. But so I tell Vinny, I'm like, dude, I go, if I get 110 out of 10, I go, I'll slam this glass of wine and take a shot at Kraken.
Jeez.
And he goes, all right. He goes, but if it gets all 10s out of 10s, he goes, you got to fill up your wine glass with Kraken and chug it. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I go, it's a fucking prison escape adventure game for children. It's not going to get a 10 out of 10. Sure enough, it fucking happens. And so I slammed my drink. And from then on, every single game after that, being completely intoxicated and having Vinny chime in tips on what games to make, random combos. I made like a text-based rhythm game with steering wheel support.
Yeah.
That got like a 9 out of 10 for no reason.
I used to love doing like ninja fucking RPG puzzle games. It's like it works somehow.
So
10
good.
out of 10.
Dude, it's seriously so fun. And then of
It
course,
is, dude.
you know, Seth pulled it up. He was playing it too for a little bit with me.
That game's great.
It's so good. And I just realized that I fucked up my first playthrough because I unlocked the research and development lab and never used it. I never hired anybody on for it. So for this one, I'm doing it, and I'm going to make an MMO. My company for this one is a combination of Blizzard and Bethesda. So I just do exclusively fantasy games, dungeon games, and post-apocalyptic
Yeah,
games.
that's all you need.
So I created Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and Warcraft. And so
I hear they're remastering Warcraft 3.
yes, it's
I need that.
That would be
right
cool.
there.
Bang, right there. Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Yep, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be on phones.
Cannot wait for that.
It's gonna be mobile only.
Yeah, probably.
Mobile only
I wouldn't
with
be
in-app
surprised.
purchases.
As soon as Steam Link starts, I actually got Steam Link like on my phone,
Yeah, they
which is
discontinued
kind of
it.
cool. They did.
They're not make. Oh well, I think it's still supported, but they're not making any more Steam Links. So if you need to buy the actual Steam Link, you should buy one as soon as possible.
I don't
Yikes.
think.
They
I think
just
they're
con-
just
they
turning
just
it into an app. Is what they're going to do.
Discontinued production, maybe. I don't know.
Because it is an app now.
Yeah.
So and it's still in a beta. So
Word.
you can like Bluetooth connect a controller to your phone, and then play Steam games.
I found my Steam controller, which is underrated, by the way. I don't know if
I have one.
you have one.
I've heard they're good.
They're pretty sweet. I don't know where my fucking USB port is for
Oh.
it to use it, and I'm really
My
fucking upset
thing's
about it.
sitting there. There's a little dongle that you have to use for it.
Yep, I don't know where the dongle is, and so I got to buy a new one. I might have to buy a new controller outright. I don't know if I can just buy the dongle. I didn't even think.
You probably could.
Probably Amazon or eBay or something.
What time is it?
9:20.
Yeah.
Call it.
I think we call it. Yeah.
We're calling it.
We're
over.
gonna have to do this again.
for sure.
There's so much to talk about.
Yeah, dude, for real. Like we should totally do one. Earlier, we should do one.
Yeah, we could do one earlier in the day.
Stay here for like
Yeah.
do like a Mark Berlin one where we go for like 4.5
Yeah.
hours.
I
Well,
could
the one
easily do it.
the one with
I could
Cass
bunker down and do
was.
it.
Yeah, we had a 6-hour long one with Cass.
We did with 2 different days. We did like 8 hours with Cass.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That
But
was
he
great,
talked
too.
about like his trip, skateboarding.
He
Yeah.
did. We did stay by stay, like literally every place he stayed at. He told a solid like 20-minute
Yeah,
bit about, and then
Yeah, man.
was
Fucking
great.
anytime. I could come over fucking next week and do it on Tuesday too. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. I'm
yeah.
not doing
And
shit.
then as soon as I start working in the office, I can do only weekends.
Okay.
Well, I can do during the week, but I'm not gonna be drinking on office nights
No way.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely not doing that.
Word.
But yeah. So we have we got Dave Peel from Anabasis here.
Yeah, Dave Peel. Dave Peel from Anal Basis. Hanging out.
So
Shout out to Dave Peel.
yep, you're cool.
And assumably there's probably a band out there called Anal Basis.
Yeah.
So shout out to
There
those guys.
definitely is.
Probably some kind of death metal band,
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess.
It's a brutal death band.
I would say Anal Bassist. Realistically, the number one name everybody says is Anabasis. Everyone calls us Anabasis, and I can
you
get
got wicked
that.
hype when I asked. I'm like, oh, how's Anabasis doing? And you're like, you pronounced it right.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, I did.
I don't even get that. I
You
mean,
know
I thought
who
was
gets it
pretty
right?
obvious.
You know who gets it right? This is cool. Check this shit out. who can play the chamber on their phone right now? Go on YouTube and fucking do that. Just go to the Anabasis page and just type Anabasis the chamber.
There you go. Announcer Pat McAfee.
Goes crazy, yeah. Yeah.
Here we go.
The chamber video.
Oh, the chamber.
It's already playing, yeah. So you could be like, I'll see if this works. This is pretty cool. The important part is the Siri, not the fuck the song. Who cares about the song? Okay. Hey Siri. Who sings this song?
Oh shit! Should I turn it back up?
Well, she's got to hear it. Yeah. She got Siri calls me Chad. That's hilarious.
Oh, try it again. I turned it
Yeah,
down. 'Cause I'm an
okay,
idiot.
yeah. Siri, who sings this song? Hey Siri, who sings this song? Might not be able to hear it.
Sounds to me like the chamber by Anabasis.
Yep.
No
and
way.
Siri says Anabasis.
She
right.
did
There you
it.
go.
Sounds to me like the chamber by Anabasis. Yep. If
Wow.
Siri can get it right and it's a fucking robot, then all of you can too.
Yeah. Also,
Christ.
we're gonna get hit with
Yeah, you
copyrights.
fucks.
What's the song I'm playing?
Oh, the song you're playing is called Terminal.
Okay. So you
That's
guys
the
know that.
second song on the album.
It's also the best map from Modern Warfare 2.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's the one in the airport.
Oh, that's the most fucked up thing ever in
That
gaming.
one's hard as fuck.
Where you literally commit a terrorist act in a game.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing Modern Warfare 2 on
yeah.
Steam.
All right, guys. We'll hang and listen to that, and yeah, I'll come back soon.
All right,
Thanks for
guys.
having me. This
No
was nasty.
problem, man. It was fun.
We'll do this again for sure.
Enjoy the music, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.